And the first show, we're in Austin, right? First show is in Mississippi. And all he can guarantee me is $75 that I'm splitting with another person
to fucking drive to Mississippi.
It was 9 hours, dude. Like, I'm like, $75, Ron?
Right.
Like, help me out.
What a dick.
And I told him no, and he's like, well, you're never working with me again. I'm like, I know I'm never working with you again. And there's a table of 4 that's talking and not paying attention. And he just lays into that. He blames them for the entire show not going well, right? And at one point, he does a joke, and it doesn't work. And he looks back. He does a joke, it doesn't work, and he goes... And he looks back at the table, and he goes, I'm going to follow you guys home and murder you when you get out of the car.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the IGLOOSIVE podcast. Today I have, I would call him a friend. I met him at a coffee shop, but been going in there for a while.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Good buddy named Martin Henn. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm Martin, I guess.
Yo. Hold a bit. Now we getting busy, bridging the gap. Cooler than the polar bear. Born in the game.
We're calling each other friends.
No, he is. I consider you a friend.
I appreciate it.
This is our first time hanging out outside the coffee shop, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, I definitely in context, it made a lot of sense to introduce me like that. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. You got a great setup here. This is really dope.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm hooked on this stuff. I call it crack. It's called Honey Badgers. It's they don't promote me or sponsor me at all, but they can. It's from Buzzmill, and they're just fucking amazing.
That's right.
And,
That's right. Yeah, I wore my Buzzmill shirt today.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's promoting too.
There we go.
There it is.
Don't fire me, Jason.
And so, he works at the coffee shop. I met him there. I found out he did comedy. Every time I go in to get a coffee, we always chop it up and talk shop. And it's good to have you on the pod, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me out here. This is really neat. It's cool to do this. We were just talking about this before. It's cool to do this in Buda because I'm running a show like about a 5-minute, just on the other side of the highway from here. Every Tuesday, I come out to Buda every Tuesday for like 7 months now. So it's a really cool community to do comedy for.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. It's dope out here. What's the place called in Buda?
It's Meridian Coffee, which is like right downtown Main Street, Buda.
I love it, man. Yeah, dude. And you actually, so I know that you moved here from Madison, Wisconsin. When did you officially move to Austin?
September 2017. So I've been here just under 6 years.
Okay.
Just about 6.
Nice, man.
So, yeah.
You've done a lot since you've moved here, man. Like it's pretty dope, dude. And we're gonna get into that, but before, I want to kind of catch myself up and them up with as far as like I know that you do comedy, you do stand up. How long have you been doing stand up for?
Just about 9 years. It was 9 years last month. Since I started. Beautiful. And it's been good. I mean, it's ups and downs. It's thinking about quitting all the time, and not quitting, and getting great shows, getting bad shows, stuff like that. I think Austin's a cool town because I feel like you get a lot out of whatever you put in Austin. I think it's a pretty fair city. Yeah. In terms of results to effort kind of comparison. Right. So it's been cool coming down here because I feel like every time I've tried to do something a little bit more since I got down here, even if the initial project doesn't go exactly the way I wanted it to, it gets me forward. Mm-hmm. I feel like even the ones that aren't 100% successful, they still get me to that next step. Right. So it's been great. It's been good 5.5, 6 years down here.
That's awesome, man. That's it's cool to see you come onto the scene and like I know you've been here for almost 6 years now, but it's just dope to see how much you've done in the amount of time that you've been here. Because I mean, you're running the Meridians on Buda. You just started doing the South Austin Comedy Club.
Yeah, we just opened the club. Yeah,
that's great, dude. Like it's I know people that have lived here their whole lives and aren't doing what you're doing. So it's it's cool, man.
Yeah, it's been really neat. I think there was a point probably right before COVID, like 2019, 2020, I was really struggling with comedy. and I was kind of thinking about quitting. And I took a couple like really long, like, 2-3 month breaks in that stretch. And at some point I decided to come back, and I came back because I sort of decided to be like, okay, what do I want to get out of this? I wasn't putting in the effort for the things that I wanted, and it was like really fucking me up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a thing where I was seeing like, oh, these people are getting theater shows. They're getting headline weekends at Velveeta Room, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not getting those things. Yeah. And I knew I wasn't putting in the right work to get those things.
Right.
So I had to like rewire and say, okay, well, what's the work I can put in to get something that's fulfilling for me? And I think that's when I started like producing a little bit more, because then it was like, okay, I'm not worrying anymore about like stage time people are giving me. I'm worried about creating stage time, making it as good as I can, and then like gaining off of that. And I think that was where I like really started to sort of shift gears a little bit, and it made me way better as a performer, and it's like made me way happier in terms of how I fit comedy into my life.
Oh man, that's what it's all about, dude. Because I mean, I was born and raised here in Austin, and July will be 12 years since I've been doing comedy.
Yeah.
And when you get into the comparison game, as far as why is he getting these opportunities, I'm not getting any opportunities. One, you're not gonna fucking grow. Two, you're going to basically be miserable because you're constantly sitting with your thoughts of like, why is this dude fucking doing this and I'm not? And he just started. He's been doing it for 2 years. He already got this. Why am I? And once you get into that mentality, if you stay in that mentality, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. I started producing my own shows. I started like renting out venues. I started renting chairs and setting up the chairs into the venue, putting on my own stuff. And the beautiful thing about that is if you get a good venue, you tell them, hey, let me get the door, you get all the bar.
Yeah.
And you make way more money than you would headlining a gig at Velveeta Room or any other place,
1,000,000%.
And you get to work out your own shit. You have your people there. Like it's such a whole fucking vibe, dude, when you do like self-produced shows.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really rewarding. I'm super happy with the way we've done both like Meridian and now like South Austin Comedy Club. And kind of like you were talking about, I mean, with the club now, I mean, once we kind of get it running and get it rolling, we can start kind of hiring comics to work the door and do, put things in place. Where pretty soon that's going to be not like running itself.
Right.
But if I need to leave for a month, I don't have to be there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I am a touring comic with passive income back home. And that's sort of the whole, I guess that's kind of why I started really investing more into producing, is because like if I can get my production in line where I don't necessarily need to be there every night, all of a sudden, boom, I can go on the road for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking a loss by doing that.
Yeah, man. And the beautiful thing about that too is like producing your own shows is when you do start touring, you can get into connection with other people on the road. Like say if you have somebody in Phoenix, like, hey man, I have a room in Austin. Like, oh dude, for real, I can get you over here. I know this guy. And then like you kind of like start helping each other out. Yeah. And you have 2 rooms in Austin where you can put them on either or. And that's great, dude. That's killer.
Yeah. I mean, right now, between South Austin and Meridian, we can get you on stage 5 nights out of the week. So it's like, it's a good setup if anybody wants to come down here.
Yeah.
If you're funny. If you're
right.
funny.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you're like, oh yeah, I'll come down for 5 days. It's not an open mic.
Yeah. Don't reach out to him if you fucking suck. Yeah. That's the thing too, man. It's like when you're producing a show, like it's not about friends and who you can get on and I just want to try it. It's not. You have to produce a good show because you want to be known for having fucking great comedians on your set.
Yeah, and when you're like putting, when we're, right now, like we're putting 4 shows together a week for South Austin. It's, you can have a little bit of room for your friends, sure, but so you just gotta focus on booking good shit. You see the difference. You see the difference a lot. Really in every scene you go to, where there's shows where it's like, okay, they're booking their friends, and there's shows where it's like, okay, they're focused on producing the best thing that they can.
Right.
So
yeah,
it is. It's just kind of removing that, I guess, that bias or that personal out of it. There's definitely a lot of my friends that I wish I could book more, and I don't, because I'm more interested in making sure I'm running a good product.
I feel that. Mm-hmm. I feel that. I've had to do that too, where people ask, and you're just like, I don't know, I already got a full show, dude.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what to tell you.
And I don't know, it sucks too, because it's like, I feel like there's some people that reach out, and it's like, man, like, you know I'm gonna hurt your feelings. I'm gonna hurt your feelings before I give you what you're asking me for.
Yeah, man, and it's such a big deal. I know exactly what you mean, dude, because I had people reach out when I was doing, my shows that I produced. I didn't produce like a shit ton. I didn't have like a monthly show or a weekly show or anything like that. It was just every once in a while I would do a show and I'd put people on. Right. And you have those people who reach out, hey man, I see you're doing the show, can I hop on? And you're just kind of like, I don't, man, dude, like I really want to get you on to help you out, but at the same time, like, I've seen you and you're not improving. So
you're not putting in the work.
You're not ready.
Something that of the quality that I'm putting on.
Right. Exactly. And it's not being a dick, it's just making sure that your show is what you want it to be.
Yeah. It's gotten weird with the club, because with the club you have people like asking you to run their own stuff now. It's not just like, hey, can I get on this show? It's like, hey, can I produce a show at your club? Shit. And that's like a whole other thing, because that's like, well, this is my, like we have a fucking business page, dude. Like people could leave a bad review on the show that you're producing if you're not doing it right. So it's a whole other like aspect that we're starting to consider now, is like people are coming out to us and being like, I really would love to produce a show at your venue, and us having to figure out like, is this person going to put in the effort that we expect in order to produce what we need to produce. Right.
That's nuts. So the South Austin Comedy Club, is that like a venue that like was already established, or is it just, or it is established already?
Yeah. So I think I've talked to you about this one a couple times. This was the show at Last Stand Brewing Company.
Okay. Yes.
So we've been running a free show out of this brewery in South Austin for 2 years now. We started June 2021, my buddy Andre and I. And we just been running a free show every week, and through like, again, just through like word of mouth and stuff like that, like the show blew up. And so a lot of Wednesdays we were getting like 50, 60, 70 people. We had a lot of like standing room only shows. It was like, for a free like middle of the week thing, it was a total blowout. And so one day we were just like sitting down with the guys from Last Stand. We were trying to figure out like, okay, what do we do to like improve the night, improve experience, improve sales from their end. And it kind of just transitioned into like, well, what if we opened a whole comedy club in this brewery, Mm-hmm. And we started looking at it and figuring out how to make it work. And then, like basically they told us like, do whatever you want with this like event space that we have. And we put up a bunch of curtains and painted and did some decorating. And now it's been a month of us running like a full-on club out of the brewery.
Oh man, it looks great too. I haven't been there physically, but just seeing the videos and the pictures, it looks fucking great, dude. Like you did a really good job, dude.
Yeah, come check it out whenever, dude. We're super proud of it. We had this woman, Candace, who she also decorated East Austin Comedy Club, which is like the kind of beginning project from the two other guys that I'm working with. Mm-hmm. And she came down and just kind of had a vibe, and she had an idea, and it's really cool and very like retro and funky in there. It has like a very like kind of like 70s loungy feel. It's really intimate. But we're super proud of it. It looks great in there. We've been having incredible experiences and really good feedback. We have a lot of people. We've only done 17 shows so far, and we have like a lot of people that have come to more than one already. We have a lot of return business, which is wild to me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fucking great though, dude. I think it's because that place, that like Congress area right there, is just really expanding and blowing up. There's so many people around there, and if you can go out, watch a good comedy show that you're producing, you know there's going to be good comedians, have a drink, why the fuck not? Because Rogan's selling out almost all the time,
Well, and that's kind of what's happening, is that like I think it's like we're attracting separate business, because if you want to go to Rogan's club, you're not going to come to our club. If you want to go to Rogan's club, it's because you want to go see like Shane Gillis or Dave Chappelle or Roseanne or whoever the fuck they got, but there's a lot of people that are like, I just want to go out for a night and have a fun time and have a couple drinks and eat a little bit and then make it home. And it's like, those are the people we're pitching to, where it's like, I'd say pretty confidently, outside of Comedy Mothership, I think we're booking about 99% of the same guys you're going to see anywhere outside of like Mothership or Cap City.
Right.
You know,
of course.
Outside of those two, you're getting almost every other comic that you would see at every other downtown venue at our place. And it's free parking, and you don't have to go all the way downtown. You don't have to walk by like a bunch of fucking drunks and like hobos and shit like that on 6th. Like, I think it's a really appealing experience for a lot of people. So it's been good so far. We just need to get the word out. You know, it's just word of mouth. It's been a month. And
you already had a sold out show, didn't you?
We've had 2. So out of the 17, we've had 2 sellouts. The room seats 50, so we've had 2 sellouts, and we had another show where we had like 45. So we've almost had 3 out of 17. But yeah, I think you know, we got to ride out the summer because like summer's tough in Austin. It's just, everybody goes places. But I think once like the fall rolls around, we're gonna be packing it out a lot.
Yeah, no, I think so too, man. And I mean, that's killer in a month's time. You know, like it's fucking good, dude. You just keep doing it, and word of mouth goes around, and it gets out, and they find out that there's a dope ass comedy club with really good production, really good comedians, and it's bound to happen to where like every show's gonna get sold out soon.
Yeah, I can't believe we're here right now. Like I was so ready, you know, opening this club. Like I'm running it with a couple other guys, and sort of my role is to be physically there most of the time. I'm the one who's kind of doing a lot more of the concrete work. And I was so ready to be performing 4 nights a week for like 7 to 10 people every single night. And I can't believe that it's like pretty much almost every night without fail, we wind up getting 20 people somehow.
It's amazing.
It's wild.
No,
so like this
great.
last Saturday, shows start at 7:30, and this last Saturday, I think we had 3 tickets sold by like 4 in the afternoon, and we wound up with 24.
The walk up though.
Yeah, exactly. We just get, you know, it's really nice being attached to a brewery, because it is. You just go in the brewery and you talk to 15, 20 people, and you're like, hey, we're doing a comedy show. And if it's a light night, you're like, I'll let you in for $10, you know, I'll let you in cheap, something like that. And you can get 4 people, 6 people, something like that. And I mean, when you're in that small of a room, and especially we shrink it down too. We do some things to the kind of cut the seating if we know we're going to have like a light room.
Smart.
So we have shows where you have 22 people in there, but the room seats 28.
Yeah.
So everybody who's there thinks they're at a full show.
Yeah.
They think they're at almost a sold out show.
It's amazing.
You know, and so it's just about creating that experience for whoever shows up, and then making them validate that, you know, their purchase.
Right. No, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So, what made you choose Austin when you moved from Madison to Austin? Because I mean, it was 2017, so like the comedy scene wasn't really popping. So like, I mean, what was the choice?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't what it is now. I didn't want to do Chicago because everybody does Chicago from Wisconsin. It's just like, it's the move everybody makes.
Right.
And I really wanted to go somewhere where the weather wasn't god awful 6 months out of the year. Legit, that's what it was. I was like, I just want more sun. And so I got invited to do a comedy festival down here, and it was around the same time my lease was up in Madison. And I just I said, fuck it. And I'm like, I'll just pack up all my stuff in my car and go down and get an apartment and see how it goes.
Damn.
And I really dug it. Like, I had a really good first year here. I hit a lot of open mics. I wound up getting roped into, oh God, have you ever heard of the Comedy Brewery Tour?
No.
So I wound up doing this thing, the Comedy Brewery Tour, a little bit in 2018, and that was a wild fucking trip. And
is it all around like Texas, Austin?
It's all around the country.
Oh shit.
But it was a good first year. I feel like I learned a lot. But yeah, okay, so Comedy Brewery Tour. It's this guy in like, I think he's in like Long Island or Staten Island or something. And he's fucking crazy. He's fucking crazy. And he just cold calls breweries around the country. And he's like, let's do a show. I get the door. You get bar sales. What do you say? And if they say yes, then he just sets up a show there. But they don't have to have audio equipment. So when you do the Comedy Brewery Tour, you have to bring your own audio equipment. You have to bring your own PA and everything.
Yeah.
They don't do any promoting for the bar. They don't send them any promotional material. They just go there. You're going to have a comedy night this night. Figure it out.
sounds fucking awful.
Dude, it was the best and the worst trip I've ever had all at once. Because every show was a fucking dud. Like, every show was like 7 people were there. It was 90, the shows had to be 90 minutes long, right? And my buddy took me with, and my buddy was the headliner. And my buddy took me with, and he was like, you want to do the shows just me and you, right? Because then we make more money. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Right. But they have to be 90 minutes long. So I was doing 45-minute long opening sets in like Las Cruces, New Mexico for like 8 people in a dining hall that seats 250. And like the shows were dog shit. But we were in New Mexico and Colorado for like a week. And I was like off work. So I was just like smoking weed all day and going on hikes and then doing these bum ass shows. And the guy would be like, yeah, I'll get you a hotel room. And then we would get the hotel and we'd get like a day's in. You know what I mean? It'd be like a $38 like fucking crackhead motel. And the next day it'd be like, oh, you guys stayed at, that was way too much money. You stayed at a day's in. We're like, it was $40, dude. Give us the $40. One of the shows we did was in Grant, New Mexico, which is literally middle of nowhere, like bodies in the desert, New Mexico. We get all the way out there, and it's not that the show is canceled. The bar is out of business. There's like a fence that's like chained up from the outside and padlocked. You can't even get in, and the place is completely shut down. And we call Ron, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I closed 3 weeks ago." It's like, cool, dude, fucking awesome. So, dude, we drive back to Albuquerque because that's where the next show is. And we stopped at a casino on the way back from Albuquerque, and I won like $90 on the slots in the casino, right? And the guy I'm with, the guy I'm with goes, hey, don't tell Ron. Ron was the promoter or booker or whatever. He goes, don't tell Ron you won at the casino, because if you do, he's not going to pay you. Because he'll say, yeah, you didn't do the show, but if you wouldn't have went all the way out there, you wouldn't have went to the casino and won that money. So I still got you paid.
What a dick.
This guy was fucking insane. Oh, my God. And then I was supposed to do a second run with him, and that was going to be a run on my own. And the first show, we're in Austin, right? Mm-hmm. First show is in Mississippi. And all he can guarantee me is $75 that I'm splitting with another person
to fucking drive to Mississippi.
It was 9 hours, dude. Like, I'm like, $75, Ron?
Right.
Like, help me out.
What a dick.
And I told him no, and he's like, well, you're never working with me again. I'm like, I know I'm never working with you again.
Oh, no, what am I going to fucking do? I was
going to say the same thing. Oh, man.
Oh, that's fucking rough.
It was a wild trip.
Fuck you, Ron.
It was fun. It was fucking fun. One of the Las Cruces show, fucking the guy I was with was too afraid to ask him for a hotel room. So there was this like 50-year-old woman at the show who just let us stay with her for 2 days. So I'm just like, okay, like, I'm like, this is really fucking weird, but I was broke.
Yeah. So
I'm just sleeping on this woman's couch, and she lives with like her adult son. Her son's like 22. And her son would come out of the room and be like, hey, so you guys are leaving tomorrow, right? We're like, are you leaving tomorrow, dude? It feels weird you're here, too.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I feel like there's a better excuse for why we're here than you're here.
What was the name of the spot in Las Cruces?
Like, it was like Pikachu. Oh, there's a mountain.
Picacho.
It was Picacho Brewery.
Yeah, that's a fucking huge room.
Yeah. It's a giant brewery.
And you had how many people?
Less than 10.
Oh,
easily less than 10.
Did you do it inside or outside?
Inside.
Oh, so it's inside. All echoey as fuck.
Oh, God, it was brutal, dude.
Man.
And that was the first show, too. So I drove from Austin to El Paso to go pick up the other comic.
It's already 9 hours.
All right, here we go. Should be pretty cool. First big comedy tour. And I get there.
Comedy.
Oh, man. It was fucking ridiculous. It was so...
Oh, man, that sounds fucking rough.
Everything except for if it just would have been a road trip where I just went to New Mexico and Colorado, I would have had the time of my life.
Yeah.
I had an incredible time. I saw the Breaking Bad house. I went to fucking Meow Wolf. I bought a ton of weed in Colorado and brought it home. Like, I had a great trip. I went to a Rockies game. Like, I had an incredible vacation and the worst comedy tour all on the same trip. It was wild.
But, dude, those fucking hell gigs, man, they build character.
Oh, they're so fun.
Like, you really... You learn to eat shit and be comfortable when you do stuff like that.
Dude, and they're so, like, I think there gets to a point where I know I have nothing to, like, a show's so bad that I know I have nothing to gain from it.
Yeah.
So I can just kind of do whatever I want to.
Yes, dude.
And it's the most fun I have doing. We did a show, and it's another one. We did a show in Amarillo, and I got there, and the guy running the show is like, "Hey, they're playing darts and pool competitively right now. It's darts and pool league, so we can't start the show." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." I'm like, "This is already doomed, right?"
Right.
And so they all get done playing competitively, and they all just keep playing, right? Because it's Amarillo. Like, where the fuck else are they gonna go?
Right.
So they go to start the show, and they turn the music all the way off, and a guy looks up from the darts game and goes, "Did you just turn off fucking Whitesnake?" And then he just left. Like, I don't know if he was playing or not, but he's just like, "I've had it." And he just fucking left. One woman, we're getting through the show, and the guy who's on before me is like halfway through his set, and this woman is sitting like if you're standing up and performing, I'm the woman sitting here, and she just starts playing country music full volume on her phone.
That's the fucking worst.
Like 3 feet, like very clearly, like, I don't even want to listen to this.
Yeah.
I just want to drown you out
of
this entire experience I'm having here.
Oh, I hate that shit. I can't stand when a motherfucker plays music on their phone.
Yeah,
It's the most ghetto shit ever.
It bothers me to know it. We did that. That shit happened to me. I was taking my parents out for dinner on like Friday, and some guy did that shit, like sitting there. It was like a community table.
Yeah.
And he showing his friend like an EDM song, because of course he was.
Yeah.
And it's just like, seriously? Like, dude, you're at dinner. Like, send it to him. He can listen to it in the car.
The fucking worst.
Yeah.
That or the people who go grocery shopping with like their playlist playing all loud. It's like, dude, nobody wants to hear your shitty fucking music while you're grocery shopping.
Yeah, and it's
so
just,
whack.
I don't know. I just like, how is that enjoyable for you?
Yeah.
Like, it always blows my mind.
Yeah, I don't
Super
fucking get
weird.
it either.
People do that shit at the coffee shop all the time too, and I just fucking can't stand it.
It's fucking
I
awful.
yell at everybody.
It's awful. We were where were we? We were in Vegas. Me and my buddy Israel. We were in Vegas, and this girl literally had like a fucking JBL Bluetooth that she was just running around with and just playing her fucking shitty music, like fucking Little Yachty type shit. And
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I want to fucking kill myself on the strip. Like, this is fucking awful.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know. I guess it's an attention thing, but it's just like, I don't know, get a cool dog or some fun pants or something. You can get attention other ways.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
And dog is like cool attention. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's the best attention.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, no, I know. I got a pit bull. I love it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get to do the people come up to him. I get to do the, yeah, he spent 1.5 years in the shelter. Like, oh!
Yeah, I know. I
especially in
him.
Austin. Yeah, especially in Austin.
Yep. Yeah. All the women come up to you and, well, how old is she or he?
Yeah. Melvin definitely gets that attention too.
Fucking Melvin.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Old man names for dogs.
That's
all the way.
Such an
Gotta
old man
do
name.
old man names for dogs.
Fucking Melvin.
That's right. That's it. My next one's either going to be Leonard or Luigi. I already decided. So they're just going to be senior, so just geriatric dogs.
That's such Wisconsin names.
Yeah, right?
Melvin and Leonard.
Yeah, legit. Leonard, yeah. Can see him.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Just hanging out in a balcony, taking pot shots like the Muppets, you know?
When you moved to Austin, did you ever think that, like, you would have this much success in comedy?
My initial strategy for moving to Austin was I wanted to be like a touring comic, and I thought starting in Austin and then networking back up to Wisconsin, I could get this nice pipeline through the Midwest. And that's kind of worked. I definitely have I have a little like tour stretch I can do that kind of goes like through Northwest Texas into Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin.
Nice.
You know, so I can do that. And that was kind of my goal coming down, which is why I spent a lot of time touring for the first couple years I was down here. So I mean, the plan was to become more successful coming down here. I think I definitely didn't expect myself to be where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see myself doing I never thought I was going to want to do the producing thing. It just felt like it was too tedious and like too much work and stuff. But like, there's some really solid money in it. Once you get it running, you don't have to work like crazy hard on it. It kind of like, once you get the momentum with it, it kind of starts running itself a little bit. And then it's just like, it's a nice like networking tool, you know, where it's like, now I know the next time I kind of get my head above water and I'm like, okay, where do I want to go? I know I can, you know, I could get on the road for 3 weeks and be on shows really consistently just from what I've been able to do through the producing realm.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, that's legit, man. I know you just released a special last year.
Yeah, last summer.
Wiscondescending.
Yeah, Wiscondescending.
Fucking beautiful. It's very well put together. The points, the moments in between the comedy special of you talking and then going back into the special, it's something like I've never seen before, and I've told you this already, but like it was very well put together. Like I almost put my special together like that, and I was like, like I didn't end up doing it, and it would only because I don't know, like I don't even know how the fuck was that your plan or was that the producer's plan to do it like that?
No, that was something I really wanted to do. I got really stressed about the special for a long time before we did it. And I kind of took a step back. It was sort of the same thing like I did with comedy, where I was like, okay, what do I need to get out of this?
Yeah.
You know, rather than looking at what am I like, what are you expected to want? You know, because you're expected to have certain goals as a comedian, right? You're expected to want to have a Netflix special, nationally touring headliner, stuff like that. And so it was the same thing where I was like, okay, well, what do I want to get out of this special? And I decided I just wanted to make it for me. I wanted to make it as like a time capsule of this, like, okay, I put in this amount of work. I got to this point. I got a bunch of people here. I got a camera crew here. Like, this is a result of 8 years of effort from me, you know? Yeah. And when I'm 70, I can go back and watch that special, and I can just take a lot of pride in the way I chose to, you know, kind of spend my 20s and 30s and stuff like that. Like, I think it's like a tangible result of like a pretty long time in my life, long period of my life, you know? So that was sort of my thing. And with the cut scenes, it was like, okay, well, you know, it was the kind of the end of like a lot of Wisconsin material, you know. It was the end of a lot of stuff that I had written when I lived in Wisconsin. And I feel like after I came down here, I started getting away from that just because it wasn't my life anymore, you know. I wasn't talking about it because it wasn't my life anymore. So it was kind of this nice, like, okay, spent the first 30 years of my life in Wisconsin. I started comedy in Wisconsin. You know, this is a great, like, kind of way to tie off this time and be able to look at it with really like a fondness and a lot of happiness and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. No, it's beautiful, man. And I know the producer that you got, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, Jesse Chiefo.
Yeah. So
fuck, I got lucky.
Yeah.
I got really lucky.
Explain to me and explain to the audience, like, how did you land that? Well, first of all, tell them exactly what he's done after your special.
Yeah, so it's really cool. I just found out my special's on Amazon. I didn't know my special's on Amazon. And I found out, so I was looking at it on Amazon with another guy that I'm running some production stuff with. And so Jesse Chiefo is the director of my special, and on his IMDb credits, it's Martin Henn, Wiscondescending, and then it's Sam Morrill, like Thank Me Later or something. So the next special he recorded was Sam Morrill.
That's legit.
So yeah, like Jesse's been a really good buddy of mine for a couple years, and I asked him to record my special, and I did it. And then like a month after he did it for me, he like blew up. And so he recorded Giannis Pappas right away, and then he did the Sam Morrill one. He's been doing a lot of stuff with Andrew Santino, a lot of stuff with Stavi. Damn, he's just everywhere now.
That's fucking legit.
Yeah, he just totally blew up. But he still has a lot of time for locals, he's just an incredible human being. So I got really lucky that Jesse, and I was his first one. I was the first person to ask him. So it was kind of cool that like it happened right before everybody else started asking him,
right?
You know.
That's legit, man. That's fucking awesome. And I know that, dude, congratulations on the special because you've gotten so many views on it with like YouTube and everything. I wasn't even aware that it was on Amazon, so congratulations.
Yeah, I wasn't either until like last week.
How did that work? Like, did he put it on there, Jesse, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so there's another production company I'm working with now called 4x3 Productions, and they are based out of Cincinnati. And those guys actually saw my special after I put it on YouTube. And they wanted to get distribution rights over it, so that way they could put it on bigger platforms.
Right.
And so the whole thing is I can still distribute it any way I want to, but if they distribute it in a certain way, we split the royalties or the whatever we make off of their distribution efforts. So I was like, yeah, I mean, if I'm not losing anything and you guys are going to put it places that it can make money in places that I'm not going to put it, like perfect.
Yeah, and it's a stage credit for you too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that's beautiful, man. That's fucking awesome, dude.
I know. It's it was wild because we were getting ready to record somebody else's special last week at South Austin, and we were just talking to somebody about Wiscondescending, and I was sitting there with Chase, the guy that runs the production company, and I was like, yeah, it's on Tubi. He's like, yeah, it's on Amazon too. I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, look it up. So I looked it up. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm on Amazon, too.
That's legit, bro.
It's kind of weird,
That's so dope.
But, yeah, it was cool. It was a nice little, like, I don't know, just a little, like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you feel like because you put it on YouTube and got the views that it was able to kind of go a little bit further?
I'm not sure what you mean.
So since you put the special on YouTube first and just threw it out there and had those views, so say you had 37,000 views, now the production company can be like, look, this made this many views or had this many views on this. You know?
I mean, I think they recognized, I think I'm the kind of person that they recognize, you know, is that I'm sort of who 4x3 is looking for, these people where it's like, oh, they put out a really good product. They don't really have like a huge following or anything like that, but they clearly have, the materials there and the quality of the production is there. Let's see what we can do with this project.
Gotcha.
So I definitely think that throwing it on YouTube and then having it kind of do, I mean, like, I think it's at like 52 or 53,000 views or something like that. But even that initial, like, that first couple weeks, it got like 15 or 20. And I think that those are the people that 4x3 is looking for, that like 20 to 100,000 view comic that's trying to just figure out like where else can I put this so that way people can see me and get to know me and stuff.
That's legit. Do you feel like working at the coffee shop, do you feel like that kind of like helped you out with like pushing your special? Because I know you were telling a lot of people about it.
Yeah. I mean, you get a little bit of word of mouth and stuff like that. I think that definitely helps out a little bit. I really just like working at the coffee shop because I think it keeps me really loose,
Gotcha.
I think that like if you're spending all your time at like open mics and shows and stuff like that, like you kind of forget how to talk to people who aren't doing comedy.
Right.
And it's like your friends, other people at open mics aren't going to buy tickets to your show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got to remember how to talk to people that are actually paying to come see you, paying to come see comedy and stuff like that. So I feel like Buzzmill really helps me like realize I don't always have to make the smartest joke I can,
Right.
It's when you're talking to people that aren't doing comedy, it's like sometimes they just want you to be funny.
Yeah.
And it's not like you have to outthink them. You just have to get there a little bit quicker.
Right.
And so I think that Buzzmills really helped me just sort of get out of my own head and like be more receptive to my own ideas.
Yeah.
Where I'm not starting to write a joke, or I'm not starting to think of a tag and be like, oh, that's stupid. It's like, no, it's goofy and it's dumb, but, and it might be a little bit obvious. It might be more obvious than I want it to be, but people are really going to like it, and if I get that first laugh and that second laugh, all of a sudden I can start going on to smarter stuff that I want to talk about, or like, smarter punchline stuff with more exposition because they trust me from the initial pop.
Yeah. No, that's legit, man. That's I didn't even think of it that way. That's fucking dope. Keeping your people skills and all of that intact, because I always tell people, like, if you're writing new material and you go to an open mic night, just fucking throw the new material away, because like it's when you do new material and you're doing it at an open mic now, you're basically performing for other comics, and other comics really don't give a shit about what you're saying because they're already like kind of like working their stuff out in their head before they go up on stage. So you never know what's going to work on the road until you take it on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think if you're working new stuff out at an open mic, it has to be more about like you worrying about your own effort on it rather than the reaction it's going to get. You know, I think when I try to do, I don't really do a lot of open mics right now because I'm just like, I'm running 5 shows. I just try out new shit at the shows.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think that like when I'm trying a joke out for the first time or like the first like 3 to 5 times, I'm more worried about like, how am I wording this? How am I stacking it? Like, what order am I putting everything in? Like, I'm not even so focused on like the total reaction I'm getting, you know? It's like if I get a laugh at the premise, then I'm like, okay, the rest of it I'll figure out.
Yeah.
You know? It's like if you laugh at the idea of it, then I know there's something there and it's just a matter of me saying it a bunch of times and then getting it to where I need it to be.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of agree that I think a lot of open mics, and I feel like more so now as like, you know, I'm like 35. I'm not, you know, young anymore. And I feel like especially like younger comics and stuff like that they just aren't nearly as invested in watching their friends like it was when I was starting 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's not at all.
When I was doing this in like 2014, 2015, and we were doing open mics in Madison, like a lot of people would sit there and watch each other, you know, and give each other feedback and stuff like that. And it was a very like kind of co-op communal thing. And I think there's still like pockets of that, but I feel like it's very like segregated and compartmentalized now.
Yeah.
Where you have like your 3 or 4 buddies rather than everybody's watching, you know?
Yep. Yeah. It's been like that in Austin for a while. Yeah. Even when I started like doing comedy, like it always felt like high school again, because there's like these different groups of people that would like click up and they'd be against these people and like, oh, fuck that guy and fuck her and all this, you know, and it's just like, fuck, man, like
Austin, you know, I always feel like almost every comedy scene is the same everywhere you go. I feel like you have the same people, same proportionate of talented to untalented people, stuff like that. The one unique thing I noticed about Austin when I first moved here was I feel like there were a lot of improv people who were getting into stand-up. And I think that dynamic really allows for more of like a theater kid energy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I picked up on that a little bit too, that it was like, I noticed things were clicky when I got down here, but it was weird. It was different than what you know, because I would, by that point, by the time I moved down here, like I was going to Chicago and Milwaukee a lot. Like I was familiar with scenes in larger markets, you know, and there was just something different about Austin. And I was like, this is weird. And then I found out about Fallout Theater after like I had been here for a little bit, and I started kind of seeing like the crossover.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the energy I'm picking up on.
Yeah.
Is there's like a theater kid dynamic here that's different from a lot of the other scenes I've been to, where that's, you know, Chicago, like stand up and improv are pretty separated, you know, stuff like that. And then same thing with Milwaukee. Like Milwaukee's got a pretty small improv scene and like a good comedy, like good stand-up scene. So again, they're pretty separated. But Austin, I felt like there was a lot of crossover in terms of like, not only in terms of like performers, but like shows. You had a lot of stand-up / improv shows, and that was a little bit of a novelty.
Yeah, like the what is it called, Spider House or Spider Room?
Spider House.
Yeah, Spider House. They would do like a whole mix-up of things back when I first started. They would do comedy, poetry, and like spoken word all in one night.
Yeah,
and like it'd just be different people going up there. It's like you never knew.
It's a nightmare.
It is, and like you never knew what you were gonna get, you know. And it's almost like a whole fucking when I did this, talent agents put on something to look for all kind of people, like entertainers, comedians, singers. And it was just a whole mash mix-up show of like everybody going up there and doing different shit.
Yeah. So like, the energy levels are all over the place.
All fucking over the
brutal.
place.
Yeah.
And so like I noticed that, and I think at that point I was maybe like 4 years in, and I was sitting there and I was like, fuck, dude, like this is, I got to go up and do comedy in the midst of all this shit. Like, and they had it at Baby A's. Yeah, it was the Baby A's further up north, not the one off Riverside.
Yeah,
and
well, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter at all. It's in the back. They have a stage, and so people are eating fucking chips and salsa. Yeah. They're getting fucking drinks and watching and all this shit. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking weird, right? So, I go up on stage and like I grab a chip. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a chip with me up on stage because I already know how I'm going to fucking, get this and get it going. I got to get them on my side. I have to call out the elephant in the room because I know I'm not the only one thinking about this shit, right?
Yeah.
And so I go up on stage. I was like, this is cool, I guess. We're in Baby A's doing comedy. And I was like, I just find it kind of weird because you have some of these actors coming up here and they're amazing. They're very talented and they're putting their heart and soul out in their performance. And they're just like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And my dad left me and I just I can't do it. And then...
Yeah.
Does anybody else feel weird eating chips and salsa while this girl's crying up on fucking stage? And like I said that, and the fucking crowd erupted, and I had them like from then on, and like got signed with the talent agency. It never worked, obviously. Yeah. But it was just a fucking weird thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different types of people going up there. And like you had very talented musicians, and I met some there that night that I'm still friends with, and they're still doing their thing.
Yeah.
But it's just it's crazy when it's a fucking mashup and mix up like that.
Well, there's so many people that are just focused on how do we make money, and it's not about whether it's even going to be a good event or not. You know?
Yeah.
And so I mean, you even see it in comedy. Like even if you're booking a comedy lineup, like managing the energy level amongst that lineup is an exercise.
Yes, dude.
And that's if it's all stand up. If we have a musical comic, we never put them anywhere except for the end.
Yeah.
Because if you put a musical comic in the middle and the next person's doing like one-liners or something, all of a sudden you've just completely fucked the energy of your show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've definitely done like open mics and stuff. Buzzmill used to do a mixed open mic on, God, it was either Mondays or Tuesdays, and it was a nightmare.
The worst.
It was really bad. And my buddies and I would always go at the end, and it would be like the last mic we'd do every night, and we would legit go because it was so bad. So we would go knowing like probably not going to get any laughs, probably not going to get anybody to pay attention. So it was like you wouldn't do material. It was just, how do I get these people to laugh in the 4 minutes that I have?
Right.
And it was, oh God, it was awesome. We had so much fun. We loved it. It was me and two other guys, and we would just be so excited to go because there would be comics would hardly ever sign up for it.
Yeah.
So we felt like it was kind of our like little secret mic, and we would just have so much fun together on it. It was awesome.
No, that's beautiful.
It was wild, yeah.
When I so before comedy, I used to do I was in rap music.
Okay.
I didn't like hip hop music for fucking like 10 years. And so when I got out of it and I started doing stand up, I had people from my rap days reach out like, hey man, we're gonna put on this hip hop show. You want to come out? You want to host it, or you want to come out? You want to do comedy? And when I'm first starting off, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, I'll do it.
Right.
And then the more you do it, you're like, this is fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Because you literally have somebody do this whole fucking performance, rap music, everybody's fucking chilling, whatever, and then you get off, and then it's just you up on there, and now you have to bring everybody talking, everybody doing everything with the music to just nothing but words.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fucking impossible.
Yeah. And they already, the rapper's done. So they're already done paying attention.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not like they're sitting there like, oh man, I really hope there's going to be a stand-up comedian coming up right after this guy's done.
Right.
So that way I don't have to talk to my friends. I did the same shit. There was a metal festival in Wisconsin, and a buddy of mine asked me to perform. So the show was outside, and he asked me to do stand-up inside in between the bands. So when everybody came into the bar from the show, they would hear a stand-up comedy show. And nobody fucking wanted it. They came to a metal show with a bunch of their friends.
Yeah.
The band just got done. They want to talk to their friends.
Right.
And that's the thing, man, is sometimes sometimes you do those shows and it's like, yeah, I'm going to get them. I'm going to get their attention, everything like that. And there's other times where I'm like, you know what? If I got 6 people paying attention to me, I'm just going to do the show for those 6 people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You talk to your friends.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for you either. Like, it's totally fine if you're not here for me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Nah, it's, those things are rough, man. Oh. Yeah. I'll anytime anybody asks me, like, hey, man, we're going to do this music thing and want to do, nope, I'm
Not
good.
Anymore, yeah.
I'm all right.
Not anymore.
You can find other people. You'll be all right. It's going to be a shit show. I'm going to let you know right now, but you don't care. You just want to put that on the flyer. So whatever. Cool.
I will remember all the bad ones before most of the good ones. Like, if you ask me, like, what's the best show I've ever done? What's the hardest I've ever ripped? Like, I don't know if I could honestly point to one. But if you're like, what are 3 of the worst shows you've ever done? I could be like, okay, there was Milwaukee where the Bachelorette tried to fight me.
That sounds fucking amazing.
And then like a couple others. Like, you could just like list them off. Like, oh, boom, boom, boom. The first time my dad ever saw me was at a sushi restaurant, and there were only 4 other people there.
Oh,
it's
man.
so bad. We got done. And I was like 4 months into comedy. I go, how'd you think I did? He goes, it was really easy to hear you.
That's fucked up.
It's like, yeah, there was 4 people in the room.
Thanks, Dad.
It was just a conversation at that point. It's not even a show, you know? It's just a big conversation.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, that
so
was
fucking like, this is what you want to do with your life, huh, son?
exactly.
Cool.
Right? Oh man, and I totally did it to like, because I thought he would like it too. Like, one of my big things for getting into stand up was like, oh man, my dad will get super into it too.
Yeah.
And then he just like never gave a shit.
Especially after seeing that.
For
He was like,
real.
yeah, fuck this.
It's so funny because he like takes pictures of the lake. That's like his big thing. He lives like by Lake Michigan. It's old guy shit. And now his big thing is photography, and he takes pictures of the lake. And I feel like me telling him about comedy is the same as him telling me about his photography.
Right.
You know, like he's like, yeah, this guy, Ken Larkin called me the other day. He works for the Door County Land Trust, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I got a weekend at this place called the Looney Bin, and neither of us know what the other one's fucking talking about, right? But like, cool. Sounds like you're happy doing it, you know?
Oh, fuck. What Looney Bin?
I did all of them.
Okay, you got weekends?
Yeah, I did.
Badass.
I did MC weekends at all the Looney Bins to try to get further. And then after the MC weekends, I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm good. A couple of them were good. The Oklahoma City one was a lot of fun, and Wichita was a lot of fun. But, oh, man, we talk about all-time bad shows. The weekend in Little Rock was amazing.
Yeah.
I did this weekend. It was with this guy, Brian Scalaro. Mm-hmm. Brian Scalaro lives in L.A., and his big credit was the show. This is 2018, mind you. His big credit was the show Stacked, which I don't know if you remember this, but there was a show in about 2000, 2001 where Pamela Anderson was a librarian, and it was on Fox.
He was using the credit from then in 2018?
I'm not making this up. Yeah, that was the big credit.
Oh, my gosh.
So I get there a day late, and Brian comes out of his room, and he is just like, he's like a human ashtray, and he fucking I go, how's the weekend going? He goes, how the fuck do you think it's going? I'm in Little Rock. This place sucks. I'm like, oh shit. And so I got there a day late, which that was fine. Like, it was already established, but I was like, how'd the show go last night? He goes, it sucked. Tonight's gonna suck. They're all gonna suck. I was like, okay. All right, here we go.
Cool, man.
So I go back up in my room. We go to the show. I go up, I do okay. Feature goes up, he does okay. Brian goes up, he does his first joke, doesn't land, right? And there's like 14 people here, right? Oh, it doesn't land, and there's a table of 4 that's talking and not paying attention, and he just lays into that. He blames them for the entire show not going well, right? And at one point, he does a joke and it doesn't work, and he looks back, he does a joke, it doesn't work, and he goes. And he looks back at the table and he goes, I'm going to follow you guys home and murder you when you get out of the car. So he's going a little further. And there's this couple in the front. And they're, you know, Arkansas healthy, right? So the lady gets up and she's like leaving. And he goes, where the fuck are you going? She goes, I'm going to go have a cigarette. He goes, you can't smoke. You're pregnant. And she wasn't pregnant.
Oh,
so she starts crying outside. Her boyfriend finds out she's crying outside, goes to the manager and says, I'm going to beat that guy up when he gets off stage. So they have to calm this guy down. They give him a bunch of free tickets and get him to leave. And so then she has to call the guy. Oh, what was his name? Jeremy? Is the guy, he just passed away, is the guy that ran all 4 of the Looney Bins.
I think it was Joe. Almost positive it was Joe.
Joe Johnson or Joe Jonas or something. I don't know. But she had to call Joe, and she's on the phone. She's like, we got to get Brian out of here, all right? They want to fight him. He's talking about coming on people. I brought my 14-year-old kid here.
Oh, man, that's fucking great.
So we fucking get home. The entire night's just a nightmare. We get back to the condo. Brian looks at me. He goes, I don't know what happened. Last night's show went great. I was like, what? You said it sucked, dude. So it turns out Brian had I think he had multiple sclerosis. I think he had MS or some kind of muscular dystrophy type shit. He was on his way out. And the only reason he was in Little Rock was because he met this traveling nurse on Tinder a couple of years ago, and they would randomly meet and bang it out. But she had just gotten engaged. So this was supposed to be the last time they were going to hook up. And we're outside, and I'm having a beer, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he's getting really vulnerable with me now. He's talking about his muscular dystrophy and this woman and how lonely he is, and shit's not going that well. Stacked, shit's not going that well. And he just takes a long drag of his cigarette and just blows it and looks in the distance. And he's like, she doesn't come down here this weekend, wasn't even worth it. And I'm like, whoa, dude. Jesus Christ.
Fuck, man.
This whole fucking, when did I get put into a movie? This whole fucking thing.
Fucking, you were doing a show with Johnny Drama.
Wild, dude. It was wild. The feature had a joke about, Hank Hill getting pegged, and it's, 2018, and he's just, doing Hank Hill getting fucked in the ass impersonations.
14-year-old daughter.
Oh, my God. Because he's got to do the, that's his whole fucking impersonation. It's just Jesus Christ. Just sitting in the back, why do I write jokes? Why do I try so hard to write jokes?
Oh my gosh, what a fucking nightmare!
It was insane. The condo was disgusting. I slept on top of the covers with my clothes on for 4 days in that fucking condo. It was so gross.
The condo in fucking Wichita.
Oh, super weird.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Super weird.
It's fucking the little angel kids and the black-eyed angel and
the
weird.
There's no windows, so you can never tell it's like a casino in there.
Oh, dude, it's fucking awful.
My Wichita weekend. So Wichita, I was there. I was actually there with 2 really cool guys. I don't want to name their names because the story is compromising. But I was there with 2 really fun guys. I liked both of them a lot. Yeah. And the feature was this single dude who he was just really cool, really charismatic, stuff like that. And then the headliner was a family guy. And we went and they hook you up with barbecue when you go to Wichita, right? Mm-hmm. So you go to this big barbecue restaurant and they had banana pudding and they gave us all these cups of banana pudding, right? So we had a bunch of them in the fridge. And the feature met a chick at the opening show that they kind of hit it off. So they're seating for the late show, and the headliner's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get some banana pudding," and so he goes into the condo, and the feature was a large dude. Chicky hit it off with, equally large. He's fucking this woman on the couch. This guy sneaks in to get a banana pudding, and I love it. Just the complete 2 different lifestyles of comics, where you do have the family guy that's just there for the weekend and just wants a little bit of extra pudding, but he's got to walk by some guy fucking a chick that he met on the couch from the show before. It's just so totally the experience of sharing a condo with 2 other men that don't have their lives together, but in completely different ways.
Oh, it's such a fucking interesting life, dude. Oh, it's so I love comedy for that reason, because it's never fucking boring. There's so many different people on this walk of life who are doing comedy who are completely different from who you are.
Absolutely.
Especially if you share a condo. Fuck, dude.
The condo is so fun. The condo's a riot.
It is. Like the fucking series Crashing, when like they pointed out so good. Like when they went to New York with that I can't remember the other guy's name.
Was it Bobby Kelly?
No, it wasn't Bobby Kelly.
I can't remember who brought him up north.
Yeah, I
know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah, and he stays with like, you know, him, and he's like in his room, like fucking having phone sex with Kat or whatever. Yeah. And then like the headliner's pissed off because he can't get any pussy, and then the other girl's sleeping on the couch.
It's a million. There was one girl in Milwaukee that was like a total like chuckle fucker, and I did a weekend with a guy. His name was Luke Ashlock, and he did a fake Scottish accent, and I didn't learn that until years later. But she hooked up with him, and then almost hooked up with another comic that I did a weekend there with like 3 months later.
Shit.
And she didn't hook up with him, and the guy came in and was like all bummed, and I'm like, hey man, if it makes you I said, hey man, if it makes you feel any better, she fucked like a different comic like 3 months ago when I was here. And he goes, it doesn't make me feel better, it makes me feel like a fucking loser. He's like, she fucked him, she didn't fuck me.
Literally.
It's like, why'd you say that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So I thought I was being so nice and being like, yo, dude, she's for, you know what I mean? Like, she's for the streets. You're probably better off. But he was just like, oh, so she does fuck comics? Just not me?
He just felt like he couldn't have sex with a prostitute. Like, that's how you made him feel.
That was legit. It was, oh God.
Oh, poor bastard.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Oh,
so funny.
So I went to go grab a honey badger earlier, and Kiki informed me that you're newly single. So
yeah, I broke up with my girlfriend 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, how's that? How's
Super
that?
Fired up about it. It's awesome. It's awesome, dude. It was not a good relationship for me.
Yeah,
it was weird. It was really, I don't know, looking back now, I think it was a pretty circumstantial thing. So, like, we started dating in October, and then, like, 2 weeks after we started seeing each other, my ceiling collapsed in my apartment.
Shit.
And so, she was like, come move in with me. So I moved in with her, and it was going, like, the first month was going great. And I wound up buying a house in South Austin, and after I bought the house, I was like, well, you should move in with me. Like, we're already living together. And she was living in Cedar Park. So it was a thing where I was like, I do not want to date somebody in Cedar Park. That's really fucking far away.
So
like,
far.
Just come move in with me. And she wanted to move. Like, it seemed like it was going to go great. And we moved in, and it was just a really bad fucking idea to move in with somebody I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There was like some good aspects of it and stuff. We were together for like 7-8 months. But it was just a thing where, like, I don't know. I think when you're in a relationship, you kind of get like we were just in a bubble, you know?
Right. Yeah.
We lived together. She worked from home.
It's a big one right there.
Yeah, and we didn't really have like a lot of people over. So the house was just like this dome that we were just in exclusively. And so I think like I didn't really realize it's not what I wanted until it was like I realized it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it was just a thing where I started seeing her doing it to other people, you know, like my mom came down and she was really weird with my mom. Like she was always kind of weird with my dog. Like there were other people in my life that she just wasn't vibing with.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of those things where it was like I value those people almost like more than I do myself, you know, or like I think we all have that in ourselves where like we can be treated a certain way and kind of tolerate that.
Yeah.
But if we see someone in our life that we care about being treated a certain way, we're going to say something.
Oh yeah, 100%,
you know?
for sure. And
so I think it kind of came down to that where it was just like too much like, you know, you're making these people and these things in my life uncomfortable and like I'm not going to let you do that.
Yeah.
You know? But I did it like right as we opened the club and holy shit, like I needed the time, you know?
Yeah.
It really worked out because I needed the time to be fully invested in the stuff that I'm doing right now. So.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're putting up with the club and running something new and then going back and seeing the same person every fucking day, that right there is like exhausting as it is.
Well, and it's, you know, I'm sure you've ran into this too, where you do comedy. It's like you have a night job and, you know, especially now I'm 35, a lot of the women that I'm dating have a day job, you know. It's if you're dating women in their 30s, a lot of them are working during the day. So I think it was always a frustration with her. She ran into an issue because like there was always an issue of how much time we could spend together.
Yeah.
But you can't be like, hey, I want you to do less comedy because you sound like a fucking asshole, right?
Right. Yeah.
You can't be like, this thing that you really care about and you're passionate about. I want you to do less of it so that way we can spend more time together.
Yeah.
So I think that she could never really be honest about being like, I don't like the way you live. I think she was really convinced that she loved me. And she knew that in order for me to be who I am, I needed to live a certain lifestyle. And she just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's
like dating a stripper and being like, I don't like you doing this shit anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You met me at the job. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like this is what I do, And if you don't like it, I mean, it's like, where does that leave us? Because this is how I'm fulfilled. I'm not going to be the person that you love unless I get to live this life.
Yeah. Yep.
So if I stop living this life, I'm not going to be the person you want to be with anyway.
That's it right there.
That's exactly and it's just that little cycle.
And that's what it is. Because then if you even do say you did love her or I'm sure you did, you know what I'm saying, but you like really loved her. Fucker, say if you did love her, right?
Hypothetically.
And you were like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give this up because I really do love you. After a while, you're gonna start fucking resenting her because you gave up what you love for her, and then it's a shit show in either way.
Well, and it was already happening too, where there were nights where like, I don't know, like you get in a fight in a relationship, right? But you can't leave because if you leave, it's gonna get worse. You need to be in the place, and so there were just a lot of times where like, when things weren't going good, I was like, man, I could be at a mic right now. I could be at a show right now. I could be networking right now. I could be doing something to improve the thing that I'm passionate about rather than investing into this thing that I'm not really getting what I need out of.
Yeah.
And so we just had to cut it short and like, Jesus Christ. It's so funny because like I keep telling people, like it sounds like I'm like overcompensating and being like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing really great,
right.
But it's like I don't know. The relief is just like fucking awesome.
Single life's fucking great.
It's been a huge relief to get like my life and my time back. The other thing is I bought that house and it was all her shit, right? Like it was because my fucking ceiling collapsed. Like I threw out almost all my stuff.
Yeah.
So we moved into that house. And it's all her stuff in the house, So it's been awesome for the last month, like actually like building my own space. And I mean, you've done the same thing, like being able to make your own space and knowing like, okay, if I put something here, it's here,
yes.
Yes. I'm not going to have to move it in a year. I'm not going to have to get, permission from anybody. Like I can just really invest and identify in the space that I live in. And it's fucking awesome.
It is
great.
It is, man. It's fucking dope. I love it because I was just in Columbus this past week on Thursday. And it's being single is just something that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, I literally did the show. I went on, I had drinks. There was this girl there and she was flirting a little bit. And there's a place that's like a barcade that's like literally down the street from there. And we went there last time. I was like, I definitely want to fucking go back there because that was a dope ass spot. And so she had told me after the show, she's like, hey, like I'm going to go grab drinks. She should come to this bar. And I was like, I'm going to go to Penn's. That's the name of the barcade. I was like, I'm going to Penn's. She's like, it's right next to it. And you should come have a drink. And I was like, I'll go to your spot and we'll have a drink. And then we can go to my the arcades place because I'm going to play arcades tonight. I don't know,
Yeah.
And so like we go over there and like I'm sitting there and I'm having a drink with her and we're talking and whatever. And as she's talking, I look at my clock and it's like 11:20 and I'm like, okay. I was like, hold on. So I pull out my phone and I Google it and I'm like, this place closes at midnight. And I'm like, hey, I was like, this place is going to close at midnight. Like we got to, do you want to roll? And she's like, well, we just got another drink. And I was like, well, we can down this. And then I want to go over there. And she's like, do you really want to? I was like, yes, I really want to fucking go. Like, let's make this shit happen. Do you want to go or not? And she was like, I don't know. I was like, look, I'm going to be completely real and straight up with you. I was like, either I'm going to play with you tonight or I'm going to play arcades.
Yeah.
And she was like, you should probably go to the arcades. And I was like, all right, cool. That's all I wanted to know. Have a good night. I was like, I'll be over there if you want to meet me. And I went over there and I had a fucking blast, dude, by myself. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I was drinking. I was playing games. I was going down the slide they had there. It was fucking amazing. And like, if I was in a relationship, one, I couldn't flirt because I wouldn't. It's just me. Two, if I were to go out and have fun and do drinks and play games and all that shit, a lot of girls would be like, why didn't you call me or why didn't you text me when you got back? And like, it's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a whole other responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been kicking it with a girl who does like dog watching right now. So she stays overnight at everywhere she like dog watches or whatever. So she'll like come over and we'll hook up and then she'll dip out and then I'll just like smoke a bowl and play video games. And I'm like, this is the coolest fucking thing.
Shit, dude.
I'm like, this is so awesome. I got everything I needed out of the night.
Yes. And you don't have to go to sleep with that person.
Yeah. I'm just like, she dips out and I just like fucking roll a blunt, like play some Madden, and I'm just like set for the rest of the night.
Fucking awesome.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Zach's in a relationship. He has somebody who loves him. Fucking loser.
Oh, yikes, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
What a loser.
Leave her.
She dropped him off. What a fucking loser. You got one car they use and they're going to come pick up. And...
Yeah, somebody to take care of you when you get older. Jesus, dude, that sounds awful.
Fuck that.
Right? Yeah. Someone to look after you. Statistically, we will die before you, Zach. So
yeah, it's all
got
good.
That going for you.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll enjoy arcades and video games and blunts. So
it's a good setup.
Man, but I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been fucking dope. Look into that camera and tell people where they can follow you and find you at.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at World's Biggest Martin. You check out Wiscondescending on YouTube, Tubi, and also Amazon, which I didn't know until Tuesday. And then also check out South Austin Comedy Club. We're southaustinComedy.com on the internet. And come buy tickets. We're doing shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Well, thank you for coming on, brother. It's been a fucking pleasure.
Yeah,
dude.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Hell yeah,
I appreciate
definitely.
I appreciate it.
Y'all be sure to like and subscribe or follow or whatever you're listening on. Thank you for always tuning in and for the support. Until next time, we'll see you then. Later.
Take care.
Cooler than the polar bear. Born in the game.